Hey everyone, so I've been busy, hope you have been busy too. I just want to make a little quick video. Now, I've had a lot of out-of-body experiences in my life, quite a few of them, and I'm just want to tell you about one of them. So, the out-of-body experience was just sort of a quick one, and what actually happens is my body just goes through quite a major tremor kind of thing, and I have to quickly lie down, and then poof, I just go. And in this one, I was in the white space, and when I was in the white space, not a lot was happening. There was people there. It looked like kind of doctors and stuff. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, what happened was I must have had some sort of a readjustment going on. And then when I was told that I could step back into the reality, it was like this very large, like in the old days we had a Rolodex, and usually in the like as a receptionist, and you've got this major Rolodex and you can just roll through it, and it's sort of alphabetically categorized as well, and you just spin the thing, get into the number, open it out, and you can find what person you're looking for to make that call. So it's like a Rolodex. Instead of being this way, it was this way, up and down, vertical. And as it was rotating, the every image is like a photograph, and it's a photograph of reality in the timeline that I was heading back into. But in everything, there was just like this very slight kind of variation. It was sort of like perhaps a prelude to my ability to jump dimensionally. But anyway, this happened a long time ago, 2000 and maybe 5 or something. I think I had this on. But anyway, so the Rolodex, and it's like flick, 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 and you see the picture, and it was up to me to choose to step back in. So it's like the same picture going flick, 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 quite fast, and I had to select which was the right one that I wanted to step back into. The choice was mine. Now it just sort of popped back into my head, that one. I was going to pop in about another OBE I had, but I'll just stick to that at the moment, because what I'm actually writing about is to do with dimension jumping and selecting your reality. And that's what I was going to say. I wasn't going to say about another OBE. What I was going to say is I experimented with past life experiences. I used a meditation that was in YouTube, and step down the stairs, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff, or, and then, and open the door and whatever it said, and I'd just go. But what would actually happen for me is it would be, looks like black and white photos, and it would go flick, 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 as if somebody was, how you watch a book flicking through the pages, and it's like a cartoon moving or something like that, right? It was like photos, click, 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 and then I would be inside the body of who I was in a past life, and I could be there for a little bit, just have a little look around. I never had a conversation with another person. I was just doing things, viewing while I was there. But in one, I did try to save myself. So anyway, aside from that, that was the last one I had. It was a bit scary, so I never tried to do the going back in time after that, because that made my heart beat quite a bit. But anyway, what I'm doing So you're, we're at the point where our divinity, our inner star child, our co-creator, has sort of like come back into play actively. Sorry, it's very exciting, and I'm a little bit overcome with joy. It's just started to rush out of me there. Try and control it. And let's see. So, because what we're doing is we are going to triumph over the darkness and the agents of the darkness, the destroyers of this realm. Our mission is, quite big, and, like, I'm all for being successful, and I'm not going to let the agents of the darkness or the malicious entities or anything like that freaking win. I'm going to triumph over every one of them. So how do we triumph in the simulation? Well, whenever the darkness, let's just say that it's the witchcraft, because that's quite a lot in my life. The demons as well, but that was just sort of like a chapter. But the witchcraft has been prominent and was since it was born. So a curse and the ability of my bloodline to affect others, especially in the bloodline, I imagine, with their cursing and intentions, not good. So so what do we allow the darkness to drive us to do? Well, in the culmination, when this massive, sort of almost like a dump of darkness overtook my life and just ripped and destroyed and burned, there was a death and everything like that. There was quite a few deaths, but there was a significant, and it brought me to my knees. And I guess that's the first, what's what the darkness drove me to do. It drove me to my knees. I prayed. I was in prayer. And the confusion and the chaos and, it tried to make my hair turn white from just the fear. But I've lived with a lot of fear, and it's all become a teacher. And I've learned ways to combat abilities, powers that don't fight the fear. They empower me to step through and alter the dimension of my being. Okay, so it made me drop to my knees. And then, of course, because it was very significant, this one, I got pulled into the void. So the void is this immense, absolutely beautiful place of stillness, and it is dark, but it is nothing like the darkness So it's so difficult to kind of explain, but it's like the field of potential. It's an amazing place. And I was pulled directly into Lord Shiva's meditation, which is why Lord Shiva is my Lord. And he cared for me and he took me. And, I can't really explain a lot of it. Suffice to say, he gave me he didn't give me my name. He called me by my name, my true name. That is what happened. And then it took a while for my mind to actually reconcile with what was all happening. And plus I had dreams and just these other experiences. And then plus at the same time, I had this intense witchcraft that was just like whamming me, trying to drown me, chain me. My whole body went into a lot of pain. A lot of terrible things happened. Take the breath from me. They tried to destroy me. But anyway, they didn't win. So, the agents of the darkness work deliberately, manipulate energy, stir up chaos, and cloud everything in confusion. The agents of the darkness. And so that's people who have turned to the dark side. Okay? And they got a power out of it. But the power is not their own. The power, they're actually possessed. So they didn't develop their own power. They called on some sort of a power and it kind of like took over their body. Let's just say that. So we triumph by living our divinity. And what does that mean? Well, what that means is our star child, our inner star in our heart, is eternal. It's eternal like the stars in the cosmos. And, science can say whatever it likes with the stars supernova and blow up and no, they don't. They are a part of the energy of our realm. And I mean, if you survive this with your star activated, then when this body passes into the earth and becomes a part of the earth, and your spirit passes and becomes a part of the spiritual realm, and your soul passes and goes back to source, your inner star also gets a pass, and you've passed every test, and you become a star in the cosmos. And that's eternal life, and there's something going on up there. Our spirit is everlasting as well. There's a big thing about eternity that I don't really know a lot about, because some get reborn. Souls, the soul gets reborn, reincarnates as another incarnation, because they have more lessons to learn. So what are the lessons? The lessons are, how are we going to be successful against the darkness? Because only a star is successful against the darkness. What do we see shining up there in the darkness? Stars. Okay, it's a little short one, and I promise I'll get back to my Nicodemus bit as well, which I've got written in a different book, but I've really finished another one. I've been busy. Okay, I am giving hope to everyone. Ka kite, stay strong, and make sure you stay.